What's going on, everybody? Robbie Basel here. Happy to have you with me today. I know I've tried this stream like 15 times already, and for some reason, it took a bit to get us going tonight. But welcome back to the Robbie Basel Show. Happy to have you guys with me here today. I know the audio might be hella musty, but that's just the way it is tonight. How are we? How are we, everybody? Good to see everyone here in chat, or if you are a viewer after the stream, how are we? Hope today treated you all well. Make sure to like and subscribe. These videos will be live streamed for now. I kind of want to get back into the habit of streaming. I just think streaming is a little bit more fun, a little bit more weird, and a little bit more crazy. So I like chaos. I hope you guys like it too. And that way we can all enjoy the content as much as possible. And in the future, I hope to be streaming these videos more. What's going to be going on today? First of all, first Robbie Basel show in 2 months, nearly 2 months. So subscribe and like the video. I don't know. I don't know. What do these YouTube guys say? Just like and subscribe all the time. I'm not about that. I know we started to slightly climb back in subscribers. I know we're up to almost 40 after the Man City United game versus Manchester United game. Sorry about that, guys. Then we went back down, and now we're going back up again. So if you want to subscribe, that would be cool. If you want to like the video, also would be pretty flipping cool. Because it would be great, Why not subscribe and like the video if you like my content? If you don't like my content, you don't want to subscribe, cool. You do you. I can't control you. Also, more graphics and stuff on the shows. That'll be coming in the future, possibly next week, but I'm not sure yet. We're going to try and maybe test out some stuff on Friday. Announcements. Only one announcement this week. Actually, no, first of all, shout out to these guys. Big up Northeastern. First of all, this is my brother's school. We brought the hat back down for today. They made the NCAA tournament. So W's in the chat. Northeastern going to Tallahassee. And before you ask, no, we are streaming instead of going to Tallahassee. So big ups to Northeastern. Best of luck to them. They'll have a nice time, hopefully, against the Florida State Seminoles, Mississippi State Bulldogs, and I forgot the other team. But listen, Bethune-Cookman. Type yes if you've heard of Bethune-Cookman. No if you haven't. If you want, I really don't care. But what are we talking about today? Actually, one other announcement. I keep forgetting this. Tomorrow I'm streaming again. Tomorrow we are streaming the Conference League Final. It feels like every Wednesday we're going to be streaming, but this is actually the last Wednesday stream for a month and a half. I know, crazy. But tomorrow we are doing the Conference League Final because after that, starting on Wednesdays, I'm working with my boys at Morris Elite. So big up to Morris Elite. I'm broadcasting with Morris Elite in a week from tomorrow. So we have meetings and stuff. So content might be changing a little bit more, but right now just anticipate regular videos Tuesday, Friday, and then some streams popping up here and there before a full schedule comes out, hopefully soon. Also, we actually have a very interesting game coming out on Saturday that we'll talk about in Friday's video, which is the Club World Cup, which starts fairly soon. On the Friday videos, we're going to do Club World Cup and Gold Cup predictions. I think that could be freaking hilarious. So if you guys want to experience total madness, or we do that, I might do that on stream because we're doing a game, I think, a week from Thursday as well in the UEFA Nations League. So let me know in the comments. When would you want to see those predictions come out? If we want to do it as one stream, if you want to do it as multiple streams, if you want me to do it as part of one stream, I don't know. Up to you guys. But let's begin with what we're talking about today. And the Premier League is where we are starting because we talked about it on Friday, and I wanted to address this first because utter madness ensued, and it got really weird really fast. And we're going to go over most of the matches here. We're just going to run through the ones that weren't relevant at all. Brighton went out and beat Tottenham in a game that no one cared about. Tottenham, I believe, went ahead early with a Dominic Solanke penalty, but 4 goals conceded in the second half gets another loss for Tottenham. By the way, Tottenham went out this season and lost 22 games, and they're going to the Champions League. You could see why I said what I said on Friday, and they might get roasted again today. Also, I think actually the Friday might become the Premier League review. I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out how I want to do that. Maybe after the Champions League final. Because the Champions League final is Saturday, and I know I can't. I'm not planning on streaming it. Other games that were relevant: Bournemouth actually went out and won a match. So big ups to them. They actually decided to play football. They get their first win after losing to Man City, Villa, and drawing Manchester United, including winning at Arsenal just to piss them off even more, because that's just how this works. Other weird results: Crystal Palace played a very weird game against Liverpool. Liverpool got a red card after conceding first and scored down a man against Palace to get a 1-1 draw and then eventually hoist the Premier League. And I just didn't care enough to watch that. Brentford finished off the season very, very on a low. They drew Wolves. Wolves finished the season in, where did they finish? 16th. Yeah, not great from them, I'll be honest. 16th for them? Really? 16th. Like, that meme of like when that guy said easy top three, and it says 16th? That's kind of what I'm feeling for them right now. I'm also checking something. Did I get the bottom three right in the Prem? Oh, if Tottenham won, no. If Tottenham won and Wolves didn't win, I would have gotten the bottom four right. How many predictions did I actually get right? Let me check that right now. I did not get 1 through 5. It wasn't actually very close. I got Aston Villa correct. Surprising, I know. I almost got Bournemouth, but I wasn't really close. Palace, I was 1 off again. Fulham, I wasn't close. I got 4. It's the same as last year. I'll take it. I got the bottom 3 right again, and I got Aston Villa in 6th. We'll take it. But yeah, the Premier League with a very odd ending. Other match that didn't matter: Arsenal decided to not play good football on the final day of the season. Arsenal went out and needed a late screamer from Martin Odegaard to defeat Southampton by a score of 2-1. West Ham went out and beat Ipswich to send Ipswich officially down to the championship, and that was the games that didn't matter. Also, to highlight this, Wolves have lost Matías Cunha. He's going to Manchester United. This is critical because Manchester United are not getting Gyökeres or any of the main strikers. So let's talk about the games that actually did matter. First of all, Everton went out and just spoiled everyone. A game that against Newcastle, a game that I thought was going to be an absolute blowout, turned into an Everton 1-0. If you look at the numbers, Everton actually played a very good match for themselves. Had essentially the same stats other than they got outpossessed beyond belief. In a very crowded St. James's Park, Newcastle went out and lost at home. How many home losses do they have this year? That is I think that's like their 3rd home loss of the season. I don't really know, because it's kind of crazy of how good they are at home, and it's just not loading for me. But trust me when I say this, they don't lose at home really at all. And here we go. So home record this season for Newcastle. Newcastle actually lost a lot of home games this year. They lost 5, which is the most out of teams in the top 8, tied with Nottingham Forest. There's no other team here that lost more than 3, and that team was Brighton. The top, Man City lost 3, but come on now. Liverpool won the most at home. They won 14 home games. I think what was the loss for them? Who was the loss? I don't even know what the loss was. But away records, best one was Liverpool. Arsenal were second in that, by the way, which is kind of nuts. But Newcastle decided to not do anything and then just make this really weird. So Newcastle, who played a decent game, went out and lost at home to Everton and kind of may or may not have caused a lot of people to get really scared of Aston Villa. Well, Aston Villa went out and did nothing after getting a red card from Emi Martinez. They then proceeded to get out XG'd beyond belief. Manchester United had 3 XG. I don't know when they've had that much XG in a match all year. Have they ever? Have they all season had this much XG in a game? I don't know. But Villa had 0.4. United had 3.0 nearly. And the controversial part about this was that there was a chance for Villa down a player, and they had a direct through ball in for a 1v1. I think it was, who was the goalkeeper for United? Binder. Binder put his hand on the ball. Villa kick it away, and they have a free chance on goal. And the referee takes that chance away. The referee blows the whistle, and the ball that turned into a foul for kicking the ball out of the keeper's possession, which, if you look back at it, it really wasn't. And Villa got robbed a little bit here. And I think the guys on NBC said it perfectly. That one decision cost Villa a Champions League spot. That's unbelievable. Never in my wildest dreams would I thought that, well, one, the red card happened, which it's Emi Martinez. That's like a perfect thing to happen. But Mazraoui opened the match by getting injured. So that was already that's when it started, the weirdness. That's when the weirdness started. Martinez gets the red card. Utter insanity happens. You have the foul to take away what would be a goal for Villa. United then score. So Manchester United scored in the 76th minute, which takes Villa out of a Champions League spot because of goal difference. So while Newcastle were busy bottling it to Everton, Villa were losing to Manchester United. So while Newcastle were losing to the team in 13th, Villa were losing to a team that is in 15th if they finished out the win, which is completely insane. And to make matters worse, Villa concede a penalty. Eriksen converts in his likely final game for the club. United wins 2-0. Thomas Bremmel might have been the best friend of all time for Manchester United, as they actually go on and get a result. United, who have won, I think, once this month? Maybe once in the league. They won their first league match, I think, in 2 months, which is kind of nuts for them. Despite losing 18 games this season, Manchester United actually go on and finish 15th after I projected them to finish like 3rd, which cool. Easy top 3. That would have been more fitting if they were 16th. So United have finished ahead of Wolves on goal difference and 1 point behind West Ham, who were also pretty horrible. So while all that's going on, Chelsea had to only go on and beat Nottingham Forest. That's exactly what they did. Chelsea, who played I believe, a much more even game than even what this is saying. This is saying that Forest are better. I tend to disagree. I thought Chelsea was the better team throughout the game. But a goal from Levi Colwill gets Chelsea through to the Champions League. And a Champions League that will feature 6 Premier League sides. 6? Yes, 6 Premier League teams will be in the Champions League next year. A lot of people hated that Anthony Taylor was on the game. I actually thought he did pretty decent. So big ups to them. So Chelsea are in the Champions League. Newcastle are in the Champions League. Villa are going to the Europa League. Nottingham Forest, for losing, get the prize. This is actually what happened late, and I didn't understand this because FootMob did an update. Nottingham Forest have to go to Conference League qualifiers, which, if we look at how this works, I actually want to look at I actually have not seen how this works yet. So we're all going to look at this together. Conference League qualifiers. And can we look at the Wikipedia, please? Wikipedia is actually really good with this with the soccer stuff. So if for Nottingham Forest, what do they have to do? So we go to 25-26. We have qualifying rounds. So we have the playoff. which will be featured with Fiorentina, Nottingham Forest, Rayo Vallecano, Strasbourg, Mainz. 26 winners of the third qualifier. How big is this qualifying round? This is insane. And if you're looking at some of the teams that could even be in this, you have the winner, the second place of the Luxembourg League, the winner of the Montenegrin Cup. What is this tournament? Dinamo Brest? What is the Stade Brestois sister? Like, what is happening? Actually, no, Dinamo Brest would probably be like the cousin. That's actually a very weird way to put it. St. Joseph's from Gibraltar are here. Torpedo, which is also is actually Belarusian. Torpedo Bel Az Zodino, sure. They have some Estonian club that I'm not even going to try and pronounce. WIUR Reykjavik, which I know how to say because it's Icelandic. KI from Faroe Islands are here. HJK Helsinki from Finland. Notable clubs that are unseeded. There's a San Marinese team here, which hopefully they win because that would be awesome. A couple of Welsh teams. You have SJK Racing Union from Luxembourg, which cool. You have this another Gibraltar team, the Magpies. Is this Bruno's Magpies or is this another Magpies? Why are there multiple? I'm so confused. I am so flipping confused with the Gibraltar League. Okay, it is who I think it is. I think it is Bruno's Magpies. Yeah, Bruno's Magpies are here. I think. I don't know. Yeah, we have a lot of weird teams in the Conference League, and Nottingham Forest will be part of that. Santa Clara, which I believe is the team that's not in Portugal, is also in this, which will be flipping hilarious. Just imagine you have to go to some random island to go play football. I would not be. That would be pretty crazy. What else is going on? Who else? So yeah, that is the Premier League. So we'll run down the final Premier League because Man City went out and beat Fulham in a game that didn't really matter. So it's Liverpool won the league, Arsenal second, Manchester City and Chelsea are in the Champions League, along with Newcastle United who's ahead of Villa on goal difference. Forest, who completely suck, they won one of their last 5, fall to the 7th. Will be playing in Conference League qualifiers. They finished 1 point behind Villa and Newcastle. Brighton finished 8th, which is actually pretty good for them. They're the youngest manager in the Premier League, and they're a team that can definitely be watched. You could watch out for to make a lot of money this summer. Bournemouth, after their awesome start, bottled it and finished in 9th. Brentford finished right behind them, tied on points, but behind on goal difference. Then 2 points behind them, you have Fulham, very respectable finish from Fulham. They finished 11th. Then you have Crystal Palace, who are going to the Europa League next year after winning the FA Cup. Then you have Everton, West Ham, Manchester United, Wolves, Tottenham, who are 17th, but will be going to the Champions League for winning the Europa League. Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton go down. Who will be joining the Premier League next year? Well, Burnley finished in 2nd in the EFL Championship. That league was won by Leeds United, who are coming back, which is good. And then we have the all-important clash over the weekend between Sheffield United and Sunderland, a game that would have determined who goes to the Premier League. Just for reference, Sunderland were the team, if you've seen on the news, that scored that 122nd extra time winner to advance to the advance to the playoff final and defeated Coventry. Sheffield got here by absolutely running Bristol City off the field. So the game started with Sheffield United scoring an early goal from Tyrese Campbell, who I actually know who that is. So Sheffield goes up 1-0. They were leading like forever. But then Mayenda, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, the 20-year-old from Spain, scores for Sunderland. So it's 1-1. But then Sunderland aren't finished. They get a goal through Tom Watson, the 19-year-old, and Tom Watson sends Sunderland back to the Premier League for the first time in nearly a decade. A club that at one point was relegated to League One is back in the Prem. Good for them, man. I'm happy that Sunderland is back. I had a lot of doubts about them. They didn't win a game for like a month and completely bottled a chance at top 2. If you look at Sunderland, let's look at Sunderland's form. Sunderland got here by, oh my God, this is awesome. This is awesome. So, for reference, This is not working. Excellent. Sunderland lost 5 in a row. Then went out had to play Coventry. They won the won the first leg on the road, drew the second leg at the Stadium of Light, and then went to Wembley and won the playoff final. That's awesome. So Sunderland, Leeds, and Burnley are going to the Prem next year. Flipping Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich got relegated. Also ripped to Luton. Remember Luton Town? They got relegated to League One, which is really tough for them. You hate to see something like that, especially with the way that they were grabbed all of our hearts when they joined the Prem, and 2 years after, and just after joining the Prem, they went down to the Championship and then got relegated out of the Championship. An unbelievable story that not many people would believe. So that's English football done and dusted for the year. Now let's talk about the game we're doing tomorrow on stream. It's the Conference League final. Where is this game? Where is this? I have never heard of this stadium. Is this in Hungary? Or in Poland? Hell yeah. We're going to Poland. It is Real Betis against Chelsea in the Conference League final. What are we watching out for? In the Conference League final, Real Betis, a club that finished 6th in La Liga. They will be going to the Europa League no matter what next year, which is pretty flipping cool. So yeah, Betis are going to be in Europa no matter what. This game really doesn't matter for either of them because no matter what, they're both going to be in Europe. Chelsea are already in the Champions League. You don't go down to the tier below if you win the trophy. And Betis are already in Europa, so this game kind of doesn't really matter. But we'll see who comes out and wins the trophy. The story with Real Betis this year is that they were actually fairly decent in the Conference League. If you look at the Conference League table, where are they? Wow, I didn't know they're this bad. Betis were 15th. They, played regular matches against Victor. I mean, how did they get here? Is there a bracket? Oh, there is a bracket. So Betis went out, had to play in the playoff round. They played, I believe, Ghent, won an aggregate 3-1. Then they played Victoria Guimarães from Portugal. Played a club I've never heard of before in Jagiellona Bielefeld. Who the hell is this? Who is this? Anthony Taylor ref this game. What? Oh, it's a Polish team. See, I don't know Polish, chat, so I don't understand how to say that. Does anyone here know how to say this? Jagiellona Bielefeld. Jack and the Beanstalk will be proud of this, by the way. But I've never heard of that club before. So big ups to them. They were led by Jesus Rodriguez, not James Rodriguez. Jesus is here to lead the way for Betis. And that set up a semifinal in which they played an incredible 4-3 tie with Fiorentina, a tie that they won on extra time courtesy of Ezulzuli. Abdesamad Ezulzuli. I hope I got that. I totally got that wrong. He scored a 97th minute equalizer overall, but won the tie in extra time, which sets up the duel with the Blues. Chelsea got here by winning the regulars. They won all 6 matches and got destroyed everyone. Beat Copenhagen, Legia Warsaw, and then another club I've never heard before, Djurgården. I think that's how you say it. Where is this club from again? They beat a club from Sweden. They're not like a club I've heard of before. They're not like Malmo. They're not a Hammarby and Elfsborg, an IFK Elfsborg, like AIK even. They're in 11th currently in the Swedish league. Tough scenes, obviously. And that's how Chelsea got here. So Chelsea is playing Real Betis tomorrow. What are we expecting in this battle of who is going to win the most mid-title ever? Well, I could tell you for this. Chelsea has to win this. If Chelsea goes out and loses, that would be the most humiliating final result I've ever seen from them. You go out in a tournament that you've played the most relevant teams in the world, like teams no one's ever heard of before. Because if you look at the Conference League as a whole, let me ask you all, has anyone heard half of these teams? CS Petra Club was the worst team. Lask Larn I've heard of before. We have a team from Moldova who are ahead of Sheriff Tiraspol, a Sheriff team that will not be in Europe after going unbeaten this season. I actually don't think they will. Are Sheriff going to Europe? They are going to Europa. What the hell is this? They are going to Europa League qualifying. Okay. Europa League for Sheriff Tiraspol. Lask Larn, Dynamo Minsk. They had a club called Noah, so people thought Noah's Ark was in this. St. Gallen from Switzerland were here. Astana, which I don't know where that is. Başakşehir and Hearts were like the last team in. You could probably tell how bad this tournament is. You have clubs like Baka Topola, which I thought was a beer name for a minute, but Baka Topola, which is actually a fairly respected club in Serbia, even if they're having a terrible season. They finished 7th. What does that even get you? Championship playoff? They're not going to anything right now. That's tough. But they're a top half team in Serbia. You have Molda from Norway, Borak Banja Luka, which is from Bosnia. Cool. Like I said, Vikingur Reykjavik from Iceland, Heidenheim from Germany, Ghent from Belgium, Copenhagen from Denmark. Like, you have clubs that you've actually heard of before. But when you've heard of the teams in the top 8, I don't think half of y'all can name any, like, most of you cannot name over most of these teams. Cercle Bruges from Belgium, Legia Warsaw from Poland, Lugano from Switzerland, Djurgården from wherever I said they were from earlier, Rapid Vienna from Austria, Fiorentina from Italy, Vitória Guimarães from Portugal, and Chelsea from England. You actually could probably name most of these other than Djurgården, which are Sweden. So that were the teams that like were the top 8. So you could probably tell how mad this tournament was. Biggest upset in the tournament was Rapid Vienna losing to Djurgården 4-2, which Rapid Vienna against Chelsea would have been really fun because Rapid Vienna has a really good atmosphere in one of the biggest areas of Austria, which is really cool. But what do I expect in the final tomorrow? Chelsea have to win this. But Real Betis know how to win some big matches. They've done that all year. But they're going to be out without a couple of key players. Can Antony actually go out and win this final? I don't think he does. I think they lose. Chelsea are going to win this game 3-1. I think Palmer brace, and we're going to go from Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Nicholas Jackson goal. Chelsea win the Conference League. That's my prediction for tomorrow. What else is going on? I know y'all like hockey. I think it's been a big thing in the my friend group. So let's talk this. Can I pull up the bracket, please? Bracket. So we are in the conference finals. Also next time I'm gonna have myself like go in the corner on hopefully find a way to like put myself in the corner, and we can just go over everything on my laptop instead of like. But I just don't know if that would work with my sound. So we'll figure it out. Figure it out maybe next time. But right now in the Stanley Cup playoffs from the conference semifinals, Florida played Carolina last night. A game where Florida actually got outclassed for the first time all series. Hurricanes got the shutout. They won 3-0, which put themselves barely still alive in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is good. I mean, that Carolina Hurricanes team had a lot of potential, and they just went out and just completely sucked. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. If you actually go out and lose multiple games early, it's going to be pretty hard to stay alive in the competition. And that's kind of what's happened with them. Also, sorry about this. I'm trying to post a link to the guys. Like, I don't understand. How can you be this good, technically go like another mini all-in push and still suck? I don't understand. But yeah, I mean, it's been a very up and down season for a lot of these teams. I mean, Florida's dealt with injuries all year. They've had injury problems for a majority of this season, and they've actually gone out and had a really good season for themselves. They're 3-1 in the conference finals. So that's really cool. Florida, who got here after beating Tampa Bay, winning a very close series with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but won game 7 6-1 because why not? Florida are out here just kicking ass and going to likely a back-to-back Stanley. Would this be 3 Stanley Cup Finals in a row for them? Yes, it would, because they lost to Vegas. They lost to Vegas, won last year, and now could be going to the 3rd straight and Stanley Cup Finals, which would be another Florida team going for 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals. It's pretty cool. On the flip side, Dallas is playing Edmonton. That game is tonight. Dallas and Edmonton, I believe this is tonight. Game for tonight. Yep. 8 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Edmonton Oilers actually won their last game 6-1, which big ups. After Edmonton have outscored Dallas in this series 12-7, yet there was a 6-1 game in here. How is that possible? You go out and you play that bad. You lose 6-3, win 3-0, and then lose 6-1. The hell is this about? Like, seriously. Like, I know I talked a lot of crap about this recently, but yikes. How does that happen? If you are Dallas, I know Dallas has a lot of quality. I picked them to win it all, but yikes. 6-1 to Edmonton. I know they're good, but how when did Dallas score? I'm actually kind of intrigued by this. I didn't look at this box score yet. Do we have time of goals? We do. Dallas went down 2-0 in the first, got the next goal with Robertson, and then conceded 4 straight goals to end the game. You know what? Sick. Dallas, I think you're gonna win tonight just to make this series very confusing. This is the series that's gonna make no sense. I think Dallas are gonna win again and make this go to 2-2, and then put themselves in a situation where they're at home and they're probably gonna lose again. So I think Edmonton wins this in 6. They're in the driver's seat right now, but they just got to keep putting their foot on the gas. And I'm intrigued to see if they actually do it or not. They're in a situation where they're up. They went out. You won a road game at Dallas. You're in the driver's seat. They won again. Like I said, 6-1 victory. So you know what? They're in a good spot. I just got to see if they can keep doing it. I mean, Edmonton, they're in a good spot. Well, I've said that multiple times. They have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They should not lose, but we'll see. So my prediction right now is Florida and Edmonton, even though I wanted to be Florida Dallas because I had Dallas in the Stanley Cup Finals from the beginning of the season. I had Dallas winning the cup before the season started. So I think for me that would be pretty cool if Dallas actually made it all the way and won, which that would be awesome. But yeah, hockey is going to be utter madness. I have Dallas winning tonight, obviously. Give me Dallas over Edmonton. NBA playoffs, just going to run this through real quick because a lot of these games have been complete trash. The Pacers are playing the Knicks tonight. The series started with the Pacers coming back and beating the Knicks in overtime, which, come on, you can't tell me if you're a guy who hates the Knicks that wasn't funny. And I was laughing. For those who don't know, I hate the Knicks, even though I'm a New York guy, which kind of seems like treason. You guys can write that in the chat, not the chat, the comments below. Is that considered treason for hating the Knicks? But the Knicks went out and they blew it on Tyrese Halliburton, did the Reggie Miller choking thing, which I thought the emote, which I thought was pretty cool. Pacers won by 3. The Pacers then went out and won again, and then the Knicks somehow came back from down a ton to storm Indiana. They went to Cambridge Fieldhouse and won a game 2 nights ago, and now are in a position to possibly go out and win again. But we'll see how it goes. I think the Knicks lose this game. I think the Pacers have to go out and win 1 game at home, and they'll be in complete control. I think the Pacers are winning this in 6 games with what we have left. I think this is all Indiana. This is Indiana's series to lose. This is Indiana's series to lose after game 1 ended. So it's going to be a little bit of here and there. I think this game can be very feisty. I know game 5 is going to be crazy no matter what the series is at, but it would be very odd if there was no team that won a home game through the first 4 games of the series. I think the streak gets broken tonight. It won't be 4 in a row. It will end at 3. I think the Pacers win this game tonight. Give me a 9-point win for the Pacers. I do the Knicks have it in them. It's going to come down to a lot. Knicks going to have to dig deep. Who did well for them other than Cat on I've not looked at this box score in a couple of days. OG. See, OG's kind of mid. I'll be honest. He hasn't done a lot for me. I know Josh Hart asked to go back down to the bench, which is funny. Because people usually don't do that. They're going 1 for 3 in 34 minutes. Ain't it? I'll be honest. 1 for 3 in 34 minutes. Jeez. But yeah, no. I mean, he's not a bad player. I like Josh Hart, but that's just a really cool move by him to go down to the bench. Speaking of going down to the bench, this is gonna sound really awkward. Speaking of going down, the Oklahoma City Thunder took down the Minnesota Timberwolves 128-126 last night in a game that saw the Timberwolves score 41 and a quarter and not win. 41 in the fourth and still lose. Like, I know, hear me out. The fact that Thunder were winning by, I mean, they're up by 9 at the half, and then they got, let's look at the numbers. Leading scorer for the Thunder was Shea, I would assume. Yeah, he had 40 again. Jesus, he had 40 again. Hartenstein not playing a lot. Jalen Williams is having himself a series. You forget they traded for the pick that turned into Jalen Williams. Chet Holmgren doing his thing, got 21. Scoring was pretty balanced from the Wolves to McDaniels. Anthony Edwards going 5 for 13. That's not it. And Dante DiVincenzo, Nickel Alexander Walker. Where's Julius Randle? 1 for 7 in 28 minutes. You see, the Knicks fans, they're probably putting on a clinic in his like DMs and whatever. 1 for 7 in 28 minutes. It's like Knicks Julius Randle all over again. But yeah, I have the Thunder winning that series in 5. I think they close it out tomorrow night. This is their series to lose, and I had them winning the championship from the beginning. So yeah, I think the Thunder take care of it. They should take care of business tomorrow. Before we continue, yeah, let's just keep going. 2 more topics to talk about today. We are going to Formula One next. We have the Monaco Grand Prix. We're going to keep this short and brief because absolutely nothing happened. They attempted to, implement the 2 pit stop rule. That didn't really work. The reason it didn't work, if you didn't watch the race, is that the second driver kept backing up everyone and letting the number 1 driver go out in front of everybody, and then they did the vice versa. I thought it sucked. The race was terrible. I woke up, almost fell back asleep because of the race itself. But nah, that race was not it, dog. It ain't it. Like, the Indy 500 was crap, and I think we can all address that. This wasn't even watchable at one point. Like, dude, figure it out, please. Because I'm not, for one, that hates Monaco. You need to have some history in there. But with the way it is, and I think a lot of the drivers said this, it's not watchable. It's not watchable anymore. Like, we had a couple of moments where Charles Leclerc should have overtaken Lando Norris, but he didn't because the track's so narrow and there's walls everywhere that you just can't overtake anybody. Can't overtake anyone. And Lando Norris holds on, barely, and wins the Monaco Grand Prix for the first time. Lando wins with Leclerc second and Piastri third. Pretty much the same way we started. Hamilton moving up a couple of places, even though he got the grid penalty before the race started. Big ups to Racing Bulls. They nailed the strategy for this. Isaac Hadjar and Liam Lawson getting 12 points for Racing Bulls. They did really good. Williams did great. Mercedes didn't know the rules, which I thought was hilarious. At least I believe it's. Was that the story, or did I just see a meme of this? Let's look at this because we're doing this. It's a live video, so this is for some reason. I mean, it felt like they forgot about it. I'll be honest, because they didn't pit either of them to like lap like 50 something. And there's like 70, there's 78 laps. Neither of them pitted for like forever. They're the last team to pit at all. And other than Verstappen, who was hoping for a late safety car, Max Verstappen was leading until like the last 2 laps, but had to pit because he had to do the second stop. Max finishes 4th ahead of Hamilton We'll run through the whole list. Norris wins from Leclerc, Piastri, who had a good drive as well. Max, Hamilton, Hadjar, Ocon, Lawson, Albon, and Sainz complete the top 10. Good day for Williams and Racing Bulls. Haas getting 6 points as well. George Russell finishes 11th. Ollie Behrman, who started dead last, goes out and gets a good bit of points. He goes on to finish. Almost got points. He got 12. But for Ollie Behrman, isn't terrible. I think we can all agree to that. Ollie Behrman wasn't bad. But he finished 12th, which is not the worst result in the world. Then you have Franco Colapinto, who I'm surprised didn't crash. Bortoleto, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, and Antonelli were the only guys who were the people who finished the race. Alonso's car basically blew up, and Pierre Gasly DNF'd as well. Monaco sucked. Spain, please be better. Spain is this week. It's on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Hope you guys have fun watching that. Real quick, we're also going to go over the French Open because it's here, and we're just going to talk about it. I don't know why this went to where. I don't know why I did it in my PC. Okay. We're going to look. I don't know what just happened. We're going to go to the French Open. Why is this happening? Well, the big story in the French Open this week was I'm so rattled because I know you guys can't see it, but for some reason my laptop, one of the PCs is just not working how it's supposed to, and it's like kind of driving me crazy. And I just don't know how to like make it bigger again. Oh no, I got it. Let's go. If I had a soundboard, I was like, let's go. Damn it. But yeah, we're gonna look at it on my phone. So so we started on Sunday with the French Open. Ben Shelton played a screamer against Sonigo, a match that I knew was gonna be nuts. Tiafoe won. Mickelson, who I know a lot of people like, lost to Cerundolo, which is kind of unfortunate. Riley Opelka won. Tommy Paul lost the first set and then came back and won. Nakashima lost. Second day, and Maychak lost, which is kind of big. Sinner won his opening match against Rinderknecht. Giron lost to Greek Spore. Jari and Felice played a great match. I knew that match was going to be good too. Jari at one point was top 20 in the world fairly recently. But Felice took out his Chilean opponent. Kachanov and Lecheka were winners. Taylor Fritz losing to Altmaier in the first round, which is kind of major. That was the biggest loss of the first round for the men's players. You had Holger Rune win, Davidovich Fokina, Tsitsipas, Alcaraz, Ruud all win. Korda, same deal. Paparin walked over his Japanese opponent. Monfils winning 6-1 in the final set. Hubie Hurkacz out in the first round, losing the straight sets. Guru Aliasime wins the first two sets and then loses 3 in a row. Novak, Rublev all through. Mensik through. Zverev, de Minaur, Dimitrov, and Medvedev out in round 1. It's losing to Cam Norrie and Ethan Quinn. That's big. Bublik through. Shevchenko. And then we have the second round, which begins with Ben Shelton walking over Gaston. He goes to the round of 32. Big second round matches in the men's side. There isn't really a lot. I think a weird one is going to be, where is it? Fuskevitz against Tommy Paul. I think that could get kind of weird. But I still pick Tommy Paul to win. Kachanov and Sebastian Offner, an experienced Austrian player. Bordigis could give problems to Rune. But I expect a lot of these seeded players to go through on tomorrow. Thursday, big matches. Lecheka against Davidovich Fokina, 26 seed versus unseeded player, but it's a big match. They're both really good players. Greek Sport Diallo, I think, could be pretty decent. de Minaur against Bublik. Bublik from Kazakhstan, really good player. Alex de Minaur, another really good player. Jack Draper, who somehow was 5th in the world. I really have not been paying attention to tennis, and he's just one of the top players, which is really cool. He'll be in action tomorrow against Gail Mulfy on Thursday against Gail Mulfys, who just won. And that is the men's side. On the women's side, we had a pretty awkward moment where Coco Gauff forgot her rackets, which is kind of funny. We'll talk about her match in a minute. Off rip, Kostyuk lost to Belgic, and Noskova lost to Potapova. This is where the weird names come into play again. Paulini is through. Fernandez is out. Vekic, Anisimova through. Schneider through. Zhang, Sabalenka, Svitolina all through. Peyton Stearns out in the first round, which is kind of crazy. Rybakina had her match canceled, which then I think she played on Monday. Rybakina goes on, wins. Emma Navarro loses all but one game in her match, loses 6-love, 6-1, and is out in the first round, which is absurd. Emma Navarro was, I think, a lot of people's pick to possibly win it. Raducanu, Swiatek, Samsonova, Badosa, Danielle Collins, a lot of people you would expect to be through. Ostapenko, Boltier, Kasakina, Krejcikova, Alexandrova, Keys, and a lot of normal people you expect to be through. Today was kind of weird. Kalinskaya lost. Machova lost to 2 seeded players out early. Mertens, another seeded player, lost. Gauff, like I said, forgot her rackets, goes on, wins 6-2, 6-2. Sophie Kennan goes out and wins as well. Haddad Maya, another seeded player, is done. And we had Andreeva win, and that was it. I think Jess Pagula won as well. Putin Seva, all winners. Matches to watch out for in the second round. There isn't like anything really crazy. Unless I can find something here. Tomorrow, there really isn't anything good on the women's side. Thursday, Azarenka against Kennan could be pretty good. I actually kind of like that match. But other than that, there really isn't anything. So hopefully the third round gets to become more intriguing. But tennis is going on. Everything's going on. We'll check the chat now if there's anything you boys want to talk about. Because we're going to be on for the next 15 minutes and then call it quits there. So let me just actually reach out to somebody. But yeah, right now, you know what? We're going to call it quits there. There's no one here. We're going to call it quits there. Thank you guys so much to the viewers after the live one, after this video goes public. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're streaming tomorrow. So excited. Streams are back, and you'll see them again tomorrow. Coverage beginning probably about 2:45.